We're on lesson 53 of A Course in Miracles, the workbook of A Course in Miracles. This is a review lesson. We're going to read through it and we'll talk about it. So today we will review the following. Number 1, and this is workbook lesson 11. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. Since the thoughts of which I am aware do not mean anything, the world that pictures them can have no meaning. What is producing this world is insane, and so is what it produces. Reality is not insane, and I have real thoughts as well as insane ones. I can therefore see a real world if I look to my real thoughts as my guide for seeing. So nowhere does this mention ego or the Holy Spirit, but that's what is being talked about here. Your meaningless thoughts are of the ego, and your real thoughts are of the Holy Spirit. And if we follow the thoughts which are loving, and only the thoughts which are loving, it'll bring us more and more to the Holy Spirit, and listening only to that voice. And once we are at the point where we are only listening to that voice, then we are ready to go beyond this world to the world of knowledge. But right now we are in the world of perception, and in the world of perception, there is right perception and there is wrong perception. Wrong perception is perceiving according to the ego or the ego thought system, and right perception is perceiving according to the Holy Spirit or the Holy Spirit's thought system. And the Holy Spirit's thought system is based in non-judgment and forgiveness, and that is complete non-judgment and complete forgiveness. So if we see through the ego's thought system, we are seeing insanely, we are choosing insanity, and we can choose otherwise. So number 2, I am upset because I see a meaningless world. I am upset because I see a meaningless world. Insane thoughts are upsetting. They produce a world in which there is no order anywhere. Only chaos rules a world that represents chaotic thinking, and chaos has no laws. I cannot live in peace in such a world. I am grateful that this world is not real, and that I need not see it at all unless I choose to value it. And I do not choose to value what is totally insane and has no meaning. So we are removing the value that we place on the chaos and disorder that is part and parcel of the ego thought system. And as we remove our investment in that thought system, we start to see the real world. We become less and less upset because we realize we don't have to be upset. That is a choice. We have a choice. We don't have to be upset. We don't have to remain in misery and pain and suffering. That's optional. All right, paragraph number 3. A meaningless world engenders fear. A meaningless world engenders fear. The totally insane engenders fear because it is completely undependable and offers no grounds for trust. Nothing in madness is dependable. It holds out no safety and no hope. But such a world is not real. I have given it the illusion of reality and have suffered from my belief in it. Now I choose to withdraw this belief and place my trust in reality. In choosing this, I will escape all the effects of the world of fear because I am acknowledging that it does not exist. So with putting our faith, our trust in what is real, we remove the effects of fear, and we begin to realize that fear is also optional. It's not necessary. But part of the upset is also fear. Includes anger, includes fear, and we are just presented with the stark contrast between the ego thought system and the Holy Spirit's thought system. And once we see that stark contrast, not only is it Jesus pointing it out to us, but we also have all experienced that ourselves. But we just didn't know until Jesus came and told us that we always have a choice. The choice is up to us. Only we can make that choice. No one can do it for us. 4, God did not create a meaningless world. God did not create a meaningless world. How can a meaningless world exist if God did not create it? He is the source of all meaning, and everything that is real is in his mind. It is in my mind too, because he created it with me. Why should I continue to suffer from the effects of my own insane thoughts when the perfection of creation is my home? Let me remember the power of my decision and recognize where I really abide. So we are at home in God. We are at home in God, dreaming of exile. That is a line from the text, a famous line. We have never left home. We are still there. And A Course in Miracles is saying something very radical, which is that we are co-creators with God. We created the only thing that is true creation, which is love. And we are still there creating love with God, right? Extending love, sharing love, being in the love. Anything that is not of that is not true, is not real, is illusory, is part of a dream that we're waking up from. And we don't have to keep suffering unless we want to. God did not create the illusion. God did not create the dream. That was made by the ego in alliance with our mind, that in a sense got tricked into believing that that was what we wanted, but what we realize now that's it's not what we really want, and we can make another we can reverse that choice now. So 5, my thoughts are images that I have made. My thoughts are images that I have made. Whatever I see reflects my thoughts. It is my thoughts that tell me where I am and what I am. The fact that I see a world in which there is suffering and loss and death shows me that I am seeing only the representation of my insane thoughts, and I'm not allowing my real thoughts to cast their beneficent light on what I see. Yet God's way is sure. The images I have made cannot prevail against him because it is not my will that they do so. My will is his, and I will place no other gods before him. So images are like idols, right? I will place no other gods. I will place no other idols before God. My imagination has been running amok. My imagination has been running rampant, running wild. My thoughts are producing an imaginary world, which I think is real, but it's really not. And my true reality is still there. But given that I have given such weight and such reality to the ego, I have to undo the ego through my own choices in order to recognize that all these things, all these insane thoughts and imaginings, wild imaginings, are not real. And if I see those things, I can know, now I can know that that's just my mind, right? Just my imagination running away with me. And I have a choice of how to see everything. And I can see it through the eyes of love, or I can see it through the eyes of fear. I can see it through the eyes of the Holy Spirit, the vision of Christ and the Holy Spirit, or I can see it through the vision of the ego, which is a fear-based thought system that will never work and will only keep me in the cycle of pain and suffering and torment, and will just keep other people around me in the same, because I will be in hell, and I will be making other people's lives hell as well. but I can choose again. And those are the lessons for today. There's 5 of them. Everything there really, except the last one, was all about the meaninglessness of the ego thought system, and realizing that these thoughts are thoughts that I made, whereas the creation of God is really what I really am, right? And what I created it along with God, not just me, but all of us. We're all the one Son of God. So we all co-created it with God, which we can't understand how that works from where we are right now. But let's just say that's Jesus is just affirming that. And with the ego, we made an insane world, and we can undo that world through the power of our mind that got us into the problem to begin with. Now we can undo it. So anyway, that was lesson 53. We'll get on to lesson 54 tomorrow. If you'd like to hear some more, I will be doing another video right now about Meister Eckhart, who was this, I believe, 17th century German mystic, Christian mystic, one of the most famous and one of the most fascinating. So stay tuned for a little bit about that, and thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you very soon. Thank you.